past president, played over 100 games, and a current player and life member of Old Scotch. Let's hear it for John Bales. And representing St Pat's Football Club, also a life member, former president and a lifetime supporter, Peter Blight. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Bit of great banter there in between as well. That's what we like to hear, Blighty. Come and join the umpires, mate, as a former umpire as well. Now I'm going to invite NTFA life member Colin Foon, who's got the all-important duty of tossing the coin, and I'd invite the team captains, please, to come out. So it'll be Old Scotch's call. Heads is the call, and it's tails, and St Pat's will kick to the northern end. And if I could invite everyone now in the crowd as well, if you're able to be upstanding for the Australian National Anthem. Thank you.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are one and free, with golden soil and wealth of toil. Our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage of birds Australia bear. In joyful strains, and let us sing of birds Australia bear.
Thanks very much, everybody. Good luck to both teams. Enjoy the game. Just a reminder as well, we have got the 2023 AFL Premiership Cup is here, just inside Gate 1 on the lawn. Go and say g'day to the Cup. Give it a hold, especially if your team's still in the AFL. You can go and have a photo and get up close and personal with the Premiership Cup. And also, we've got the Athlete's Foot out the back. Please go out there. They're supporting our grand final day and sponsoring in terms of best on ground vouchers as well.
Good morning and welcome to University of Tasmania Stadium for what promises to be a fantastic game in the Division 1 Reserves Grand Final between the Old Scotch Football Club and the St Patrick's Reserve. I'm Rob Soward, and I'm your commentator today, joined by my colleague Matthew Chatman. Good morning, Matt. Great call in the earlier game, but what a fantastic clash we've got here. The minor premiers, St Pat's upset in the second semi-final by Scotch, looking to gain some revenge today.
Yeah, lots of little hidden stories behind the line as well. You've got Ricky Evans for Scotch playing his 200th game here today, which is a fantastic milestone for him and what an occasion to do it on. You've got St Pat's, obviously lost last year's grand final, so looking to go one better this year and right the wrongs from last year. You've got both these clubs playing off in the senior grand final as well, so from their club perspective, they want to set the tone for their senior counterparts this afternoon. And we got a score update from Georgetown just before that. Scotch under-18s have gone through to the grand final, winning by a point down at Georgetown this morning. So they've started their day off really well as a club. So a lot of storylines here, and we haven't even bounced the ball yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the great thing about community football, isn't it? And the terrific thing with, I guess, the old collegians, if you will. These guys have probably played against each other on and off for 25 years if you go back to the high school days and so forth. And looking through some of these names, there's some very long-standing servants. But we're about to get underway here, UTAS Stadium, bathed in sunshine after a pretty ordinary Friday. So we're looking forward to getting things underway here today. Ruckman do battle. Old Scotch going to come away with a tap, but St Pat's clear the area. That's going to be okay. Taken there. They're trying to stream something together, as we said, get off to a good start. Little hack kick forward there from Coslet. Butters up. Scotch steady. It's a wild hand pass out to the wing there. Players will be feeling things out here, just trying to get some clean possession. It's pretty fumbly here early. Ball bobbling around on the far side. That's a quick kick forward there for St Pat's. First inside 50 for them. Scotch defender leading in the race for the ball. Fairly rough sort of a kick back into the goal square, and it's escorted over. Scotch full forward asked a question there, Matthew. He was hoping for a decision his way, but Fright's going to take the relieving kick in there for Old Scotch. Bobbled off hands there. The Scotch player in Humphrey got first hands on it, but the boundary umpire's going to throw it in just outside 50. St Pat's into attack.
Very nervy, fumbly start, as you identified. Whichever team gets clean possession first, you feel like will get a bit of a jump.
Humphrey gets first hands on. It's going to be taken away, though, there by Alex Russell, who's going to be so important for St Pat's today, you would think. Towed off the ground there by the Scotch defender. Desperately trying to clear the area. He goes again. Ball sits outside 50, and it's going to be Scotch steady. Nice hand pass there, and they're out. Oh, misses the target. Mopped up there by Scollier, but no, it's going to be okay. Moves on there to Marshall. Great pressure there. Fantastic pressure from Callum Russell.
It's going to be hard to miss with that hairdo, Callum Russell.
He's certainly come to play today. That was some terrific play there. Scotch were out after a fumbly sort of bit of play across half back. Umpire throws it up. Taken out of the air unopposed by the St Pat's ruckman in Balham, but it's chopped off there. Old Scotch have got a relieving free kick, and they'll have their first inside 50. Ball carries over the full forward's head, bobbles around. Just really nice defence there from the St Pat's defence, and it's a mark taken there across half back by Young. Moves it on quickly to his teammate in Brenton Cook. Cook, the veteran, moves play up quickly. Looked like a push out. You can't argue the toss with that one. He had his hands in the numbers. Didn't disguise it very well. And it's a free kick there to Philip Hazelwood for St Pat's. Hazelwood looking to give St Pat's a good look at it inside 50. Goes long to the contest. Not sure why the Scotch player in Humphrey didn't mark that. He sort of punched it. He was unopposed, wasn't he, Matt?
Yeah, both teams looking to move the footy very, very quickly. You can see by the mark, wheel, play on intention in both teams, but just lacking a bit of composure. Kicking long to a 2-on-1 and then punching instead of marking. Just need to be a bit more composed.
Good strength there from Hazelwood. Gathers it. Caught. The umpire says that'll be mine. So, yeah, as you said, Matt, it's a bit scratchy early. Players just trying to settle. Humphrey, first hands on. It's going to be okay for Scotch. Comes out, quick hack kick out. St Pat's have got time to mop up, and they'll get another inside 50. And that's a courageous mark there, taken by the St Pat's player under a lot of pressure.
I think he might have called downfield, or 50 metres, I should say, as well. So this is going straight to the goal line, this one.
Great courage there from Nathan James, dealt with heavily by Marshall. It didn't look like a lot in it, but the umpires adjudicated that for the front on contact, and Nathan James is going to be shooting on goal, and he gets St Pat's off to a perfect start. Nathan James, they'll move to a 1-goal straight 6, leading Old Scotch 0 yet to score. 4 minutes in, Matt. So as you said, maybe that helped settle things down, that first goal.
He's had a really good start, Nathan James. He won the first centre clearance. He's had a couple of clearances from contests and now the first goal. So he's really stamped his authority on this game already. The pace of play here at the moment is through the roof. It's very, very fast. Be interesting to see if the players out there have the fitness or the tank to maintain that speed. You imagine it might slow down here pretty quickly, and that composure might come in with it.
Balham, nice tap there, gives straight to James. They've done that a few times during the season. Collins drives it forward, giving St Pat's another inside 50. Gathered there. Will it bounce? It has. It's bounced nicely, but great pressure from the Scotch Oakburn defender. That's going to be okay, though. St Pat's, 2 in a couple of minutes. And just catching the number there, Tom Everett, was that the captain? Yeah, he's, by the way, celebrating Tom Everett. Ball went inside 50 there, real danger ball, but looked like the Old Scotch defence were going to clear it, but only as far as Everett, who makes it 2 in 2 minutes, Matt, for St Pat's.
And that's exactly what they would have been speaking about, getting a fast start. They've been the stronger team all year, so probably try and put a bit of doubt in the Scotch side mindset early on. It's amazing what good forward pressure can do on grand final day. Get it in there, make them defend, and don't let it out until you score.
Yeah, and that was just really nice out of the centre square through Ballum. He's done it again. He's a good ruckman, young Ballum. Nice tap there, giving St Pat's first advantage, which is so important. Umpire's found a free kick, holding the ball, free kick. And it's going to be St Pat's again through the agency of Langley, another inside 50. Scotch at 6s and 7s in defence, but scrubby old kick. Bobbles around. St Pat's looking dangerous. Scotch defence has ramped up. Gathered there, lucky there Tim Walker not to be given a free kick against him for holding the ball. He's gone back to the centre of the ground. It's going to sit here for Scotch though. That's going to be okay. And inside 50 clears the forward. Good punch there from the defender. Bouncing around. It's good courage there from the St Pat's player in Russell. Callum Russell, we called him earlier with some courage, and he certainly had that on display there. He's put his hand up to take this ruck contest. So an inside 50 here for Old Scotch, trying to get on the board and stem the tide from the great start that St Pat's have made. The minor premiers have come out guns blazing, 2-1-13. Scotch yet to score, 7 minutes gone in the first quarter, Matt.
They're just looking to lock it in their forward 50 here at the moment, give their defenders an opportunity to get proactive and take a breather, I reckon.
Ballum really proving a handful in the ruck. As I said, very well credentialed young ruckman, Jai Ballum, and he's giving them first use today. And with those on ballers St Pat's have got, that's just going to spell danger for Scotch as the game goes on. It's going to be okay though. Walker, that time for Scotch. Tapped it down to Allison, who's going to come up at the bottom of that pack. Tommy Allison, veteran and former champion at Launceston. Scotch are going to have a look at it here. Looking dangerous. Good pressure there from the St Pat's defence. Rushes out through. Scotch are on the board. One behind, trailing St Pat's 2-1-13. So, often grand finals is determined by the side that settles the best, and at this stage it's certainly been St Pat's that have looked the goods. Long kick in there for Mackerel. Bounces around. Langley been good early. Kicks up to the wing position. Gathered there by Collins, Tristan Collins that is. Kicks towards the 50. Ball bouncing around, can't sit for Clay Young. Scorts it over the boundary line. But Scotch are going to have to get a bit better composed in that back half. They're looking a bit rattly back there, and the pressure that the St Pat's forwards are applying is certainly yielding rewards, as the scoreboard shows.
Starting to get to the point where we're seeing lots of rotations rolling through. Obviously a hot day, big ground. You've got 6 on the bench, so expect the team that uses their bench really well as well to get a bit of an advantage with some run on this ground.
Umpire's picked out a free kick there for Tim Walker. Drives it out of defence. Off hands. Couldn't hold the mark there, Ryan Sheriff, and ball goes out of bounds. Yeah, you made the comment earlier, Matt, this big ground here, as we know, bigger than the MCG, they tell me. So it's certainly going to test the players out. It's a warm day, lots of space, lots of running. So expect those rotations to continue. St Pat's are looking much better around the contest, and they're going to come away with it here. Driven inside there by Catterall. Oh, wrong side, the Scotch defender. Didn't sit. He's butted up and gathered it well. High kick. And safe mark, relieving mark taken there by Tom Pedley, who moves it on quickly. Kicks to open space. Lee leads the race. Doesn't sit for him though. Bounces well for Drew Clark. Going to see the ball out of bounds. Just outside 50. So, again, as I remarked Matt, Scotch have got to be better in their movement of the ball outside 50. That was pretty scratchy on that occasion.
Either that or start winning it at the contest. At the moment, St Pat's will have a clear advantage over the clearances, so they're trying to move it from end to end. They either need to get on top of the contest or, as you say, transition the footy better.
St Pat's nice gather there. That's really clever there from Bailey Cattrall. He's been good early. Ball bobbling around there, looking dangerous, in a dangerous position for the Scotch defenders, but that's okay. They come away with it. Fumble. Good pressure from St Pat's around the footy. Fry it. Quick hand pass out, only as far though as St Pat's opponent in Berwick. James hacks it inside. Down, dangerous. Little tap forward there. That's probably not where the Scotch defender wanted it. St Pat's have got numbers around the footy. Gathered well though by Pedley. Just bangs it outside 50. Scollier, clever tap. Scollier again. Scollier caught. Everyone's calling ball. Umpire says no. Really scrambly play there. Bremner trying to clear the area. Don't argue there from the Scotch player. Sheriff upended. Back towards the centre of the ground. St Pat's have got the numbers. Barwick. Back to Fall. Some experience there. And that's a mark that's just, no. I thought it just fell into the arms of Dylan Morgan, but the umpire said no, it's Brad Fright's ball. He's been under siege back there. The Scotch defender in Fright in the long sleeves. Scotch, hack it forward, clears everyone. Just outside 50. Composure there from Fall. Goes back. It's not holding the marks at the moment, the players. James fumbles but regathers inside 50, and he finds a player in space there in missed that player's number, but he's found a player in space in Hazelwood.
I think it was Morgan with the hit-up lead, and natural left footer, so got that advantage of being able to wheel inside corridor side and hit up the forward of Hazelwood here, who has shown he's got a long leg, so I reckon he will think he's in range here. For our spectators at home, there is a little bit of breeze pushing to the left-hand side. I don't expect it to be a major factor at this point, but it will carry that little bit further to that direction.
Hazelwood moves in, strikes it well. Just across the face though, so minor score there. Certainly had no trouble with the distance, as Matt said. Fright wants them to run at him. Moves it in. Great spoil there from the St Pat's player in Balham. He's been everywhere early. Bremner clears the pack. It's going to be okay for Scotch though. Little kick forward, and he's could not have picked the St Pat's player in Fallout any better. Fall's been good early. He's gone back inside to James, who's been busy. Another inside 50, and standing all alone was a player that infringed and gave that free kick away earlier, Dylan Morgan. Danger signs, Matt, for Scotch, for Old Scotch though. There's just giving them too much space inside that 50.
And I think you've identified Fall of having a fantastic start. He's just been super clean. It looks like almost that Scott Pendlebury's time stopping around him with the composure and just setting him up really nicely from half back.
Yeah, an experienced head too, Fall. It's not the best looking kick off the boot. He probably needed to do a little bit better than there, Morgan. He's a little bit wasteful. St Pat's going to 2-3-15. Old Scotch one behind as we're just approaching the 14-minute mark, and Fright brings it in again. Kicks to a contest. St Pat's have been really busy around the footy, and no exception here from Coslett. Boundary line's going to win that one though. Addison Coslett, I should say. Just couldn't keep it in, but some danger signs there. Big strong bodies too in Collins around the footy. We've called him a couple of times. James, he's been busy. Langley, the vice-captain. St Pat's looking dangerous again. Good smother, though, from Sheriff. Escorts that one over under pressure from Barwick, just outside 50. So, ball at the right end for St Pat's. This is the sort of start that they wanted, Matt. Yeah,
they've had all the territory here. They just haven't quite turned it into the scoreboard dominance just yet. They'd probably feel like they're on top out there in general play.
Well, they would be, and that's a really nice mark again in front of the pack there from Morgan. He's looking for a lead. I'm not sure about... he had no trouble with the journey before, but the accuracy troubled him a little bit. So he's lining up as if he's going to have a shot on goal. Players leading at him. Working for him. Moves in. Pushes it across the face. Contest round the goals. Scotch happy to see that over, and Lee that was. For Scotch just happy to see that over the boundary line, but certainly the alarm bells will be ringing. Scotch won't want to give up another goal here at this stage of the first quarter. Been all St Pat's. Taken out of the air there. Dangerous hand pass. Scotch have got the numbers around. Hand passed it straight to the St Pat's player. Ball sort of smothered, bobbling around, lots of bodies around the footy. But Scotch might be happy to see that go through. But that's a nice mark taken under pressure there. Diving mark taken by Walker, who's been busy back there for Scotch. Kicks to a contest. It's going to bounce okay though. McKenzie leading in the race of the ball. Thought he might have kept that in. Certainly Alex Saunders was hoping so. He was off to the races.
It's great commitment by McKenzie as well. He's gone head first into the advertising boardings just to try and keep that footy in. Wasn't successful. That's great commitment to do that for your team.
Bounces in front of Bellum. The umpire will throw that in. Sport coverage today brought to you by Jeremy Wilkinson from Harcourts, Launceston. Tasmanian Agent of the Year 5 years running. We know what a great job he does. A great supporter of the NTFA. Bellum again giving first use. Umpire's picked a free kick out here, I think. It's going to go to Old Scotch. Ben Russell, that is.
Starting to get a bit of possession, a bit of territory here. Scotch starting to fight their way back into the quarter, which I'm sure the defenders will enjoy.
Yeah, they certainly will, but that's a great mark taken back there. St Pat's so composed in defence. Patrick Lawrence, that is. Kicks towards the centre, bobbling around. Picked up though, picked up there by Page. Smothered. Lawrence again, high ball. St Pat's have got the numbers around it. Doesn't sit for Cook. Morgan, full circle. Bit of a don't argue there from Collins. An inside 50 boundary line may win, although it sits on its end. Taken there by the Scotch defender. Lee. Kicks for touch. St Pat's will want to keep this in. They had the numbers. Collins. Back inboard to Barwick. Good tackle. Great pressure. Umpire's going to find a free kick there. That's a great pressure there from Pedley. He's been really good back there for Scotch so far. Under siege in this first quarter. Ballum battling on the ground. Kept in though. Bit of a sort of a sideways ball there inside 50. Not a real clean look at it. Ellis, courage. Clever play, Daniel Ellis. That's a really smart kick back in the Bremner direction. Hopefully sits for Lockie Bremner. Lines up. Oh, he had way more time there, Matt Chatwin.
I thought they'd be home for all money there. He had a lot of time. He even had a couple of short options if he wanted to handball it off. But, yeah, that's a bad miss. But what I like is Scotch's intent. You feel like they need to take a bit of the air out of the game, but they've got it across the wings and just wheeled and gone and caught St Pat's napping. So it's all guns blazing here at the moment. No team really looking to slow down play at any point.
It's a nice kick in only as far as Bremner. Very good young player, Lockie Bremner. Gives him another inside 50. Scotch, that's a great mark. Terrific mark, Ryan Sheriff back with the footy. And I think from memory, played in that losing senior grand final last year, Ryan Sheriff. Very capable young player. He's going to have a shot on goal, and this is really important in the context of the game here for Scotch. Yet to trouble the major register. He's going to kick from around about 30 metres on a slight angle. Really needs to make sure of this. It's coming back. And that's exactly what Old Scotch want. His teammates say that's exactly what we want, Ryan Sheriff. Scotch move on to 1-2-8. Trailing St Pat's 2-3-15, 19.5 minute mark of the first quarter. And we want to mention Murdoch Clark Mortgage Fund, Launceston and Hobart. And the Athlete's Foot, Brisbane Street Mall, Launceston. Great supporters of the NTFA finals, And we can't bring you what we bring you today without the support of those sponsors. But, Matt, to say Scotch needed that was an understatement.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll feel like they're in the game here now. They've been defending really, really hard, and they've probably stood up quite well to this point to only concede the 2 goals when it feels like St Pat's have had a lot of the territory and a lot of the attacking advantage. So to now hit them the other way, I reckon they'll be quite happy with the scoreboard. Although general play's not going their way, they look up the scoreboard and be quite happy.
They need to tidy that centre square stuff up too, and they're going to come away with it. Just on commentators, not the curse of those St Pats. That's okay. They gathered that, and they're going to get another inside 50 there where they look so dangerous. But better composure this time from Scotch. Clear it away to open space. Barwick leads in the race there for St Pats, trying to keep it in. Gets rid of his Scotch opponent, Barwick. He's been busy early, and that's a really nice kick back in board in the direction of Aidan Collins this time. The Collins brothers, Tristan and Aidan, played a bit of their footy up at South Launceston. Doesn't sit there, and Scotch happy to see that out of bounds through the agency of Tim Walker, who's been busy back there for them. Today's NTFA match brought to you by Jeremy Wilkinson from Harcourts, Launceston, Tasmanian Agent of the Year 5 years running, and as we've said, a great supporter of the NTFA Finals Series. Gathered there by Hazelwood, drives it inside 50. Bit of composure there from Mulder. By hand. Sits there for Pedley. Goes out of the wing position. Thought that might have been a free kick, and it was against Fall. As Matt Chatwin said, they look dangerous, Scotch, when they move it on, but not on this occasion, only as far as Andrew Scollier.
They'd be disappointed with that because that's the first opportunity they've had to really rebound from deep inside their back line and get it moving into their forward 50. It was just a poor skill execution that caused the turnover there.
Scollier back to Ballum. Ballum goes long, down the line. Boundary line's going to win out in that instant. So, yeah, Matt, as you say, when they get that clean look at it, they look dangerous, but they certainly haven't had a lot of that in the first quarter, which St Pat's would be pleased with. Siren sounds, 22 minutes gone, and we have at quarter time St Pat's 2-3-15 leading Old Scotch 1-2-8. All single goal scorers at this stage, Nathan James and Tom Everett for St Pat's, and in the latter part of that quarter, Ryan Sheriff for Scotch. So I'm going to throw to you, Matt, in a sec just to get your take on the first quarter, both from the St Pat's and the Scotch viewpoint, but viewers from home certainly wouldn't be disappointed by the frenetic pace that this first quarter started at.
No, absolutely. Both teams looking to score. There's not been any sort of defensive mindset in terms of trying to get spares behind the footy or anything like that. They're looking to move the footy quickly, wheel and go, play on type ball movement, which is really exciting for spectators. I feel like St Pat's would be happy with the way the game's playing out. They're on top in general play, but they'd be looking at the scoreboard and probably feel like they should have a greater advantage. Scotch would be alarmed by the way they're going, especially around those clearances. I reckon they want to start winning in and around the centre and give their side some territory, allow their backs to be proactive. But they'd look up the scoreboard, they'd see 7 points, probably haven't played their best footy. I reckon they'd be pretty happy with that as well. So both teams have positives to draw, but they've got some things they need to fix up.
Yeah, it's a terrific assessment you make there, Matt. I mean, from both perspectives. St Pat's would be a little bit disappointed. They, you'd probably say it missed a couple of gettable shots, had that slight advantage of the breeze, as you pointed out. And, it's certainly something that, I'm sure their coach will talk about. But again, with Scotch, they'd be delighted with that.
Harcourts, more than just real estate professionals.
It's a state of mind. Dreaming big, unearthing possibilities, identifying potential. We Tasmanians thrive on this. It's what makes us different. It's what drives us to succeed. Together, we can embrace the future. MCMF and us. A state of opportunity.
Welcome back to UTAS Stadium. I'm Rob Soward and I'm joined by my expert commentator, is what I'll call you today, Matt Chatwin. And we've got a cracker on our hands here in the Division 1 Reserves Grand Final at quarter time. St Pat's 2-3-15, Old Scotch 1-2-8. It's been St Pat's off to a good start, quick start, a couple of goals early, but that late one to Scotch steadied the ship a little bit, and some promising signs, Matt, for Scotch in the latter part of that quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. And I reckon the coaching group would have got around the midfield and just said, can we find a way to fix up those clearances? Because I reckon if they start to break even around there, their ball movement's been quite good. And we've seen some nice passes of play there late. Both teams have dangerous forward lines, so you feel like if they can move the footy into them, they'll score.
Umpire gets us underway in the second quarter. Probably a draw, that one, although St Pat's are going to come away with it. Ballum was very good in that first quarter. Just a little hack kick inside 50. Nice spin out of trouble there from Page. Hacks forward only as far there as Arkless. Collins, Hayden Collins that is. Nice kick forward. Scotch steady. Pedley back to the middle. Safe hands there of Tom Allison. Nice kick inside 50 in the Walker direction. Charles Walker, big strong forward. Drives it in, punched away though from the Scotch forward. Ooh. Umpires being asked there to adjudicate on the holding the ball. I think the St Pat's player in Arkless thought he had a bit more time and he was looking at the boundary line as being his friend. Ryan Sheriff, who kicked that good goal, rewarded there for a good tackle. Gives Scotch another inside 50. Probably should have been taken there by the St Pat's defenders who had them outnumbered. Evans battling away there. The 200 games, I think you said, Matt, didn't you?
Yeah,
before
200th club game for Evans. So great day, great milestone, and a fantastic effort. That's years of service, so nice for him to celebrate it on grand final day.
Be looking for a goal up there and out of that forward pocket, but it's going to be a relieving free kick here taken to Aidan Collins for St Pat's. Scotch busy in the forward line early, slips over there. I think probably a bit fortuitous. Umpire's found a free kick and that's going to go to Ben Lasky. Just heard another whistle there. I'm not sure what that one was for. Nathan James taking a mark under a lot of pressure there from Rory Fagan. The umpire might have found something downfield, but no, whistles going off here everywhere, causing the commentators a bit of angst. Scotch trying to clear that one away. It's gathered there by Tucson. Only as far as Young. Quick kick forward. Scotch had the odd numbers. Evans, the 200 gamer at the bottom of that pack. Umpire says that's mine. Humphrey. Umpire says played advantage there. Free kick against Humphrey there. Infringed on Ballum. St Pat's got a look at it here, back through the middle of the ground. Tackle under pressure, but they're going to get an inside 50 for it. Is it going to sit? I don't think it does there for Russell. Taps it on cleverly though. St Pat's still danger. Fright, quick kick out of defence there for Scotch. Ball bobbling around. Pedley looking for the boundary line. St Pat's asking for a deliberate. Insufficient intent. The umpire not having any of that, and they're going to throw it in. So both sides just feeling each other out, Matt, trying to find a weakness. Scotch had a couple of opportunities early. Now St Pat's looking dangerous.
Scotch backline's held up fantastically well. I think we've identified Fright and a couple of times won some crucial one-on-ones and used the footy really well, so they're holding up. You just wonder if the damn wall might break here if they keep winning it from stoppage.
Yeah, it's a desperate kick out there from a Scotch player in the direction of Evans. Doesn't sit for Sheriff. Oh, they could be holding the ball. The umpire says no, play on. St Pat's composure. Nice play there from Arkless in the direction of Russell. He was busy in that first quarter. Umpire's picked out a free kick here. Bit of a chicken wing looking sort of a tackle, and Nathan James, who's been one of St Pat's best early. He goes back in board to Arkless, who's also been very busy this quarter. Ben Arkless in the pink boots. Clever little kick there from Arkless, although he's picked out the St Pat's player in Scotch player in Page. Page is going to drive that one inside 50. A big fly there from Ellis. Unrealistic attempt, the umpire says.
Oh,
That's
no.
a very ordinary free kick. Goes back in the Evans direction. The 200 gamer pulls the trigger and kicks the goal. What a mistake in that back half by St Pat's. We talked about Callum Russell and how good he'd been early there, Matt, but gee whiz, gifted Ricky Evans a goal.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself just about making the point that Scotch have done well to slow St Pat's ball movement. They were always looking to move it really quickly in that first quarter, but they've gone on top with some territory and forced them long down the line a couple of times, so they've looked to switch play there. Poor skill error there by Russell, and Frankie Evans has just got a happy 200th game gift there.
Yeah, he'd be loving that, and if they get over the line, we'll be hearing about that all week. He'd probably say he kicked it from 80 metres out, but just what the start that Scotch wanted. 2-2-14, trailing St Pat's 2-3-15, 5 minutes gone in the second term. Ball back in the middle of the ground. They've tidied up around the stoppages a bit too. We talked about Ballum and his dominance there. I mean, if you know you've got a dominant ruckman, you've just got to make sure you get that off his hand. That time, Humphrey with a big effort. St Pat's, good courage. Ball in dispute there. Barwick kicks just inside 50. Doesn't sort of sit. Scotch have got time to clean that one up, and that's going to be all right. Reynolds. Pedley keeping it in front of him. Clever. Doesn't sit for him though. Collins. He's been really good, Collins, for St Pat's. It's going to be a good battle between Collins and Pedley. Pedley's been very good for Scotch across that half-back line. Experienced player, Tom Pedley. Pope throws it up. Humphrey to no one in particular. Sits for Allison. A couple of experienced names there around the ball for Scotch. Tom Allison, Daniel Ellis. Two players who plied their trade at Launceston, and experienced players at Old Scotch as well. Got an idea they probably played in a senior premiership side here. That doesn't sit for Reynolds. chopped off across half back by Arkless. Nice kick from Arkless, although again he's picked out his Scotch opponent. Scrambly, just not getting some clear play here. Well, that's a beautiful pick-up by Dylan Morgan, who was busy in that first term in the forward line. Ball bobbling around there. Scotch will be happy to see this out. Doesn't quite sit for Tom Everett, the St Pat's captain. Kicked a goal in the first quarter, but interesting start, Matt. How do you see it?
It's just that money kick that St Pat's want to clean up. Every time they're winning enough of the footy, they're getting it into their forward 50, but you haven't seen that clean lace-out hit to a full forward at any point in time. You feel like they really want to get that connection between mid and forward right, because then that'll start getting the ball rolling.
Free kick picked out there for Stephen Blizzard to fry it. It's been one of Scotch's best. Had plenty of work to do in the early stages there, Fry. Goes as far as Walker, who's been good as well. Tim Walker, that is. That's gone out of bounds. Just round from the wing position. Today's action brought to you by Jeremy Wilkinson from Harcourts, Launceston, Tasmanian Agent of the Year 5 years running. For your real estate needs. Great to see local business supporting great local sport as such as here in the NTFA today. Boundary throw in. St Pat's come away with it. Only as far as the Scotch player there who picks that one up. Hacks it forward. Punched forward again by Pedley. Sits beautifully there for Mackenzie in the headgear. Sheriff runs in. Has a shot on goal. And it sits for him. Number 2 for Ryan Sheriff. Kicked a great goal in that first quarter. And early stages of this second quarter, it's all Old Scotch at the moment. They take the lead 3-2-20, St Pat's 2-3-15. That momentum starting to change, Matt Chatwin. Yeah,
absolutely. We have Ballum was out of that ruck contest for some reason, so they didn't have a designated ruckman at the contest. Scotch win the clearance and go from coast to coast and score a goal. I'm not sure who the St Pat's defender was that had to roll up because they were streaming through the middle, left a spare out the back, really composed ball usage, and yeah, a really classy finish there. So it goes to show the dominance Ballum's having around the footy, that he misses a ruck contest and it costs them a goal. So that's a lot of pressure on a ruckman, but yeah, the impact it's had.
Back in the centre. Scotch getting another look at it here. It's a nice mark taken there by Ricky Evans. Goal scorer a little while ago. Only as far as Fall. Ever reliable Tim Fall chops that one off in the last line of defence for St Pat's. Looks to clear it out. Kicks to open space. And Jonathan Thurston's would be proud of that one. I reckon he's just found touch. And he has. Yep, just on the chalk, I reckon, that one from Fall, using every ounce of his experience there just to try and settle things down. Ballum to Fister. Cleared up though. Good pressure around the footy by St Pat's. Quick toe off the ground there. Only as far as Liam Page, who's sprayed that one wide. He's almost found Jeremy Wilkinson on the sign there. And free kick there taken by Arkless, who's gone back into Collins. Collins short. Picks out his brother in Tristan Collins. They've probably done that in the backyard a bit over the years, Aiden and Tristan. Another little short ball there. As far as Drew Clark. Steady movement there from St Pat's. Out of defence. It's a longer ball this time. Going to be an inside 50. Bouncing around there. Doesn't quite sit for Humphrey. Probably needs to force that over. Oh, what inspiration there from Alex Russell. 2-on-1 and outnumbered. Russell using every ounce of his experience. Oh, the Scotch defenders would be disappointed with that. But Alex Russell, Albie Russell, delighted Matt Chatwin with that goal where it really should have been rushed through.
Yeah, and it's still not the connection they probably look for. They did well to move the footy, composed ball movement through the wings and stuff there, and had the opportunity to hit up a forward, and the kick got out the back, and you would have thought Scotch would have cleaned it up, but just great persistence by Russell to stay in the play, stay engaged, and it threw the left boot out and straight through the middle. Mercurial talent, so I reckon he's practiced that hack out of mid-air to a target before.
And knowing Alex, he'll be talking about it for the next month, I'm sure, if they get up today. But just such an important goal in the stage of things, and St Pat's back in the lead. Ball back in the centre of the ground. We've had The ruckmen have had a spell. Ballum's gone to full forward. And Hazelwood's gone into the ruck for St Pat's. And we've got Blizzard in the ruck for Scotch. Big punch there from Hazelwood. Ball doesn't quite sit. Fry it. It's pushed up the ground. Very good in that back half early, Brad Fry. Blizzard again, giving them first use. High tackle, umpire says play on. Ball bobbling around inside 50, doesn't sit for Bremner for Scotch. Hacked forward. Russell leads the race, clever. Picked up there by the Scotch defender in Morgan. High kick, or risky kick I thought. It's going to be okay though, and taken by James Lee. Sorry, that wasn't James Lee, it was Daniel O'Byrne. Off hands. Ryan Sheriff, he's been busy and dangerous. Whoa, beautiful mark. What a great use of the body there by Josh Freestone. Now, he's a talent, this young fellow. Looks to move it on quickly. Ball beats everyone. Sits. Oh, it sits really well. That's a great gather from Daniel Ellis. Using every second of his experience. And that's a great goal. Terrific answering goal there for Old Scotch. They move on to 4-2-26. St Pat's 3-3-21, Matt. Great piece of play there from Old Scotch.
A great ball movement as well. It's very clear that they want to change directions and try and switch the footy as much as possible and get it out into space and use this big ground. The kick across goals was very, very risky. It had to be absolutely millimetre perfect. But once they got it out to that open side, they've gone from coast to coast there, found their targets, some really nice ball users, some good contested marking, and that is as good a finish as you'll see by Daniel Ellis on his left foot.
Absolutely. And using every second of his experience there, Ellis. Barwick giving St Pat's an opportunity to go forward. Goes over Cook's head. Doesn't quite sit there. St Pat's player ridden into the ground. The umpire's picked out a free kick for Tom Everett, the captain. Everett on the left boot. Inside 50 in the direction of Ballum. Goes over his head in the Humphrey direction. Bremner. Fry it. Picked up beautifully there under pressure by Morgan. Pack of players forms. The umpire says that's mine. 20 metres out directly in front, deep inside the St Pat's forward 50. Looks like umpire Jeff Dolby throws that one up. Ballum, clever tap. Well, quick off the ground. Oh. Out of bounds, they'll get another look at it deep inside 50. St Pat's looking dangerous around the footy. Scotch won't want to concede here. They've probably been the better side in this quarter as we've just ticked over 15 minutes. Scotch 26, St Pat's 21. Call is you hot. Beautiful spin there from Tim Walker. It's back towards the pack of players where St Pat's did have the numbers. Scotch are going to come away with it. Walker battles away. Gathered by the St Pat's player in Aidan Collins. He's picked out a teammate there, and that's a nice mark taken by Bailey Cattrall. Gives it by hand back to Collins. Collins long inside 50. Some hands on the numbers there. Umpire says play on. Ridden into the ground. Dylan Morgan's been busy up there. That's an interesting matchup with him and Bremner. Ruckman do battle. Big punch there from Hazelwood. In the other Ruckman's direction. Clever little stop there. Gathered by the Scotch defender in Page. Boundary line might win out, but no. Good pressure tackle there affected on the St Pat's player. Bit of end-to-end stuff here, Matt Chatman, at the moment as we're approaching 16.5 minutes in the second quarter.
Starting to see a bit of fatigue kick in. A lot of teapots out there, hands on hips at the moment. So you've got to use your rotations or dig really deep late in the quarter.
Taken there by Allison. Goes out to Sheriff. Clever kick from Sheriff. He's found McKenzie, I think that is. Moves it quickly by hand. Saunders. Oh, push off, great strength there from the St Pat's defender in Dylan Mackerel. He'll be feeling it today. That clean-shaven look that he's got, Dylan Mackerel. Nice kick out of defence. Just carried the player it intended to. Cattrall goes back inside to Cook under a lot of pressure. Umpire's going to say holding the ball. He's going to pick a free kick out there to Ben Russell for Old Scotch. Great pressure around the footy from Scotch. Another inside 50 for them. That's a terrific mark going back with a flight. Aidan Collins, who's quickly establishing himself as one of St Pat's best. Ballum, who's been good as well. Back in the Barwick direction, they're looking okay. Here, St Pat's. Nice mark taken there by Drew Clark. Moves it on quickly inside 50. All over him there, Lockie Bremner. The umpire agrees with me. And he's found a free kick there for the St Pat's player in Dylan Morgan, who's going to have a shot on goal. Today's coverage brought to you by MCMF, Murdoch Clark Mortgage Fund, Launceston and Hobart, and the Athlete's Foot, Brisbane Street in the Launceston Mall. Great supporters of local football. 18 minutes gone, Old Scotch 4-2-26, St Pat's 3-3-21. And Dylan Morgan lining up to make that change a better one in the St Pat's favour. It's offline. Mark taken on the goal line. I think we'll find it is. Yep, weren't sure if that was over the line. Stephen Blizzard taking that one for Old Scotch. So no addition to the score.
He's looked really enterprising across half forward, Morgan. It's just that polish has been missing a couple of times.
Kick back in board there. Chopped off by Jeremy Tooson. Gathered well there by Tim Walker. Oh, St Pat's player should be rewarded with courage. Aidan Collins put his head over the footy. Big, strong body. He's going to get the free kick there.
Had a really good call to Collins, actually. He's found the footy at will. He's used it really well on that left foot as well.
Little chip kick back towards the centre. Drew Clark looking to set something up here for St Pat's. Heading into the dying moments of this second term. Ball umpire's picked out a free kick and paid advantage there, and that's going to be James Lee taking that advantage. Oh, Mark dropped what he should have taken there. Tommy Allison, it's going to be all right. Sits for Alex McKenzie inside 50. Oh, probably should have done better than that in the Walker direction. Doesn't sit for him. Allison swings, turns, twists. Little chip kick. Only as far as Freestone. Plays on and hits the post. Probably should have gone back and had the shot from there. So, luck's a fortune for St Pat's.
It's almost a fitting result that it's hit the post there, because there was the drop mark, the just missed target. It should have been a goal, you feel like, but the hit post almost sums up that play.
Today's action brought to you by Jeremy Wilkinson from Harcourts, Launceston, Tasmanian Agent of the Year, 5 years running for all of your real estate needs. Dying moments of this second term. We're heading towards the shadows of half-time. St Pat's moving it forward, chopped off by Fried for Scotch. Pulled that one in. I think the umpire's going to find a free kick there, is he? No, he's going to say that's my ball, and he's going to ball it up on the wing. So not long to go. Ballum runs under the footy, encouraged there by Humphrey, who got him out of it. Pedley with a long hand pass in the Allison direction. Hand passes to no one in particular. Ball bobbles around. Nice regather there, though, from James Lee. Gets his own footy. Back into Tim Walker. Little chip kick to no one in particular. I think that fatigue that Matt Chatwin talked about is coming into play. There's a lot of running up and down on the spot there as Fall clears the area. Good tackle from Fryatt. There'll be a ball up on the wing position back where it started about a minute and a half ago. 21 minutes gone. Old Scotch 4-3-27. St Pat's 3-3-21. Scotch trying to get another look at it here late in this second term. Handball back inboard. It's going to be okay, but dropped by Walker. Some tired footy out there, some tired legs, Matt, I'd say at the moment, as you've called.
Just some real basic fumbles or missed handballs, missed targets that you feel like early in the quarter from classy players as well, that they wouldn't normally make those mistakes. So 10 seconds left. You feel like only Scotch can score from here.
Bounces, sits favourably for Allison. I think the umpire's picked a free kick out there. He said that's high. And that's going to be an Old Scotch free kick. The siren's just sounded. Tommy Allison. You probably couldn't think of too many players, Matt Chatwin, that you'd want to have this shot on goal at this stage of the game.
Yeah, usually a very reliable kick. Usually likes a little dinky one, though. I don't know about his distance anymore. This might be right on his limit, though. You feel like he does like the pressure, so I don't doubt his mental fortitude.
Allison approaches to try and snare a late one for Scotch. No, it was always left. And as we head into half-time, Old Scotch seizing the initiative that quarter. A terrific quarter for Old Scotch. They move on to 4-4-28. St Pat's 3-3-21. So both coaches with plenty to do at half-time. Matt Chatwin, what would you see was the difference in that quarter?
I think the stoppage game's what's really brought Scotch back into it. The influence of Ballum was really negated. I thought Humphrey did a fantastic job. He was really physical, gave away a couple of free kicks, but I think that's negating Jai Ballum's ability to run and jump and put it on a platter for his midfield, which meant the stoppages that St Pat's did win were really, really messy and allowed Scotch to get their hands on the footy themselves. They're moving the footy much better, it feels like, and they're connecting with their forwards much better, which allows them to kick goals. I feel like St Pat's still wouldn't be too disappointed. They're still winning enough of the footy. They're still moving the footy nicely enough. They're just lacking that money kick inside forward 50. So I reckon that'll be the message from Timmy Fall at half-time, to just either lower the eyes or pick the right target moving inside 50. And if they clean that up, I reckon we're going to be in for a ring-ding-dinger.
Yeah, absolutely. St Pat's have looked really dangerous in gathering the ball around the contest, but it's just been, as you say, Matt, that polish, that ability to finish off. They did craft a great goal that quarter from Alex Russell out of sort of nothing when Scott should have taken it through. So for mine, I think the real factor is going to be the fittest side. We've talked about this big ground. It's a warm day for a day of footy at this time of year, so that'll certainly be a factor. So as we leave you at half-time here at UTAS Stadium, Rob Soward and Matthew Chatwin broadcasting the NTFA Division 1 Reserves Grand Final. At half-time, it's Old Scotch 4-4-28, St Pat's 3-3-21. We'll see you back after the break.
Harcourts, more than just real estate professionals.
It's a state of mind. Dreaming big, unearthing possibilities, identifying potential. We Tasmanians thrive on this. It's what makes us different. It's what drives us to succeed. Together, we can embrace the future. MCMF and us. A state of opportunity.
Welcome back to UTAS Stadium for the second half of the NTFA Division 1 Reserves Grand Final between Old Scotch and St Pat's. I'm Rob Soward and I'm joined by our expert commentator today in Matthew Chadwin. And Matt, during the break, while I went down and got hold of a Riverside Rotary Club steak sandwich, which I have to tell you was absolutely fantastic, it's just terrific to see the way the community gets out and supports this footy. We talked, didn't we, about the Meander Valley Suns crowd over there. There's Deloraine people here. Isn't it just fantastic?
Oh, it's fantastic, and it's great that our grand finals can be back here at UTAS Stadium. UTAS, I better use the correct name. On the best surface, the best place to watch the footy from, to broadcast it here live on the stream and whatnot. It's just brilliant that the right things happen and we're back here for footy grand finals.
Absolutely, and we're going to get underway in the third quarter. Ruckman do battle. Ballum's back in the ruck. Barwick. First use for it there for St Pat's. They'll want to get a goal early. Brenton Cook lines up, drives it along. It's set. Nice. Well, I was going to say a nice mark taken there in defence. It's just not set for the Scotch defender. Stephen Blizzard, I think that is. He dropped an absolute sitter.
He's now been rewarded with the high free kick as well, so he's got it in the end.
Yeah, he'll be happy with that outcome. I mean, he sort of juggled it, and then there was a bit of Benny Hill music, I think, playing as he was bobbling it around on the ground. But anyway, Blizzard comes away with it. A nice long kick out of defence there. Barwick's been busy for St Pat's. He's front and centre there. Bit of a contest just inside 50. Barwick asking for a free kick. Umpire's not having any of that. The umpire's going to ball it up right just on the 50 mark there. Nice big tap there from Ballum. Bremner looking to sit, gets cleaned up by Alex Russell. Scotch looking to run it out. Little chip kick forward. Boundary line's one out on that occasion. So we talked just going into half-time, Matt, about what the coaches would be saying. The St Pat's coach, as you quite rightly pointed out, I think would be pleased with some parts of the game, but just that ability to finish was the difference, wasn't it? Yeah,
connection from mid to forward, I reckon, would have been the part they were trying to clean up.
We're going to get a look at it here now. Early stages of the third term. A quick kick forward there. I think that might have been that player in Morgan. I think he's had a shot on goal that's registered for the first score of this third term, and that's one behind. Dangerous kick coming out of the back line there. That's going to be okay for Scotch. A few marks being dropped that should be taken. Sheriff had kicked a couple of goals there for Scotch. Dropped an absolute sitter there. They're going to be rewarded with a holding the ball free kick. Back to a contest. It's going to work out all right from there. James Marshall takes that mark.
No, good decision by the umpire. His teammate had no eyes for the footy and just shepherded out his opponent there. So that's actually a really nice decision. I like that.
That was against Ryan Sheriff, I think, that one. Who's just now dropped back and taken that mark to redeem himself for that free kick he gave away. Freestone battling around there on the ground, trying to get his hands on it. Keeps it in play. Oh, Scotch players run into one another. Walker, I should say that was, run into one another. The umpire's picked a free kick out there. And it's going to be taken there by Addison Coslett. Drives it long. Nice mark there by Blizzard. Surer hands that time from Stephen Blizzard. He's found a player there loose. Ben Russell gives it by hand to James Lee. Back to Russell, back to Lee. Racking up the stats, the boys moving it out of the back line. That's going to be all right for them though. Kicks it out in front of his teammate. Russell tidies up for St Pat's. Little quick kick forward there. Only as far as that player in Ben Russell. Almost Russell to Russell there. Ben Russell drives it inside 50 for Scotch. And a diving mark taken by the 200 gamer, Ricky Evans, who kicked a terrific goal earlier on, Matt, didn't he, in that second term?
There's a bit of a breakdown in communication back there. Poor Dill Mackerel was left with two forwards in the goal square on his own, and Dan Ellis led one way and Ricky led the other, and they identified the free player, but at least they forced them wide, I suppose. Very
wide, Evans, when he's lining up this shot on goal. Just falls short, punched on the line. Oh! Set for the Scotch player. Ball bobbling around dangerously in the goal square. Bodies all over the place.
You could see what he was trying to do. He was trying to get the kick out of mid-air, but unfortunately didn't have the flexibility in the groins to get the foot high enough.
Charles Walker taps it down. Ballum. So that's taken. Well, umpire's picked a free kick out. It's going to be a St Pat's free kick, I think, there. Dylan Mackerel been very good back there today for St Pat's. Nice long kick out towards us here in the commentary position. Players fly. It's cleared up beautifully there by Pedley. Goes by hand back inside. Good pressure around the football from St Pat's. Trying to come away with it. St Pat's player held there without it. Quick kick forward there from Bremner. Ball bobbling around on the ground. Evans dives in. St Pat's through Collins. Good strength. Only as far as Sheriff, though. He's kicked a couple for some Scotch today. Goes to the goal square. Charles Walker. George Walker, I should say. He's going to kill me when he hears that on the replay. George Walker, that's a fantastic mark.
And it shouldn't make a massive difference, but a little 50-metre penalty for a bit of feedback as well included on there, just to get him that little bit closer.
George Walker lining up for his first today. He's going to be kicking this from point blank range, and he puts that on top of the stand, and what a start to the third quarter from Old Scotch. They move on to 5-4-34, St Pat's 3-4-22, 5 minutes gone third term. Matt Chatwin, just to start Old Scotch would need.
Yeah, and there was nothing pretty about that. It was a fantastic contested mark, but it's just that territory battle from getting the footy inside 50, causing St Pat's to defend, and eventually you get a clear shot on goal, which they've hammered home. So that's a fantastic start for Scotch. They'd be so impressed with that. Maintaining that dominance, well, not dominance, but advantage around stoppage, which is sort of where they were falling short early, and they've got on top of that department, and the results starting to show.
We'll see how St Pat's address that, because it's only 2 goals, but you just get a bit of a sense that Scotch have really lifted their rating, and they're going to come away with it again here. He's been really busy this quarter. Ben Russell, he goes back in board to Jeremy Tucson. Tucson picks out Mackenzie. Mackenzie short by foot, back in the Bremner direction. Sorry, that's Christian Mulder, I should say, sorry. The umpire's found a 50-metre penalty there. Umpire Jeff Dolby, which is going to take him from a position where he was probably no chance to score, Matthew, to a position where he's every chance to score.
Umpire deeming that he placed the ball on the ground rather than giving it straight back to him, so it's a harsh penalty.
Christian Mulder moves in with a gift and makes no mistake. 2 goals in 2 minutes to Old Scotch to start this third quarter, and they're off to a flyer. They move on to 6-4-40, St Pat's 3-4-22, Matt Chatwin.
We identified fitness and fatigue having a factor, and it's some of the slighter bodies out there. You've identified Russell starting the quarter really well on a hot day, big ground. Early on it was some of those bigger bodies like James and Collins brothers that were dominating around. Now that it's fatigue started to set in, those really good runners are starting to come to the fore here. And yeah, Russell's had a fantastic start to the quarter.
We made the point before the game, didn't we, Matt? St Pat's' only loss for the season, top of the ladder, only loss for the season was in that second semi, and Old Scotch looking like repeating the dose here at the moment. They are getting a really good run. There's that man Russell again, tackled beautifully there by Ballum. Umpire pays advantage, giving St Pat's a look at it inside 50. Brenton Cook leading in the race of the ball, but it's seen out of bounds there by Liam Page. So they need a bit of spark, St Pat's. First 2 goals of the game, but Scotch have wrested back control, the back line settled, and as Matt Chatwin has said in his expert commentary role, they've certainly learned to do a bit better around the ball where Jai Ballum had been dominating in the ruck for St Pat's.
They've done well to keep some very dangerous forwards quiet as well. Cook, leading goal kicker, or third leading goal kicker for the competition, hasn't had an influence. Russell only the one magical bit of play, so they're doing well from a defensive point of view with some key matchups.
Yeah, Scotch's pressure's lifted around the footy, and as Matt Chatwin said, warm day, big ground. It's going to be a war of attrition, that's for sure. There'll be some tired legs out there at the end. Blizzard, first hand on it. It's going to sit for St Pat's though. Cook taps it on cleverly to his teammate there in Aidan Collins, who was very busy in that second quarter. Scotch keep it in. Comes around the boundary line. Diving attempt there. It's going to be okay. Sheriff clears it away for Scotch. Drives it forward. Ballum. Nice pick up from the tall player. Handballs to no one in particular. It was in the fall direction. Clever from Tim Fall. Moves it on quickly. Collins. Morgan hacks it forward. Ball bobbling around. And he sort of disguised that there, Liam Page. He didn't want that to stay in at all. He gave a fairly good impression of someone who wanted it to stay in, but very happy to see that go out of bounds deep in the forward pocket. We're approaching the 10-minute mark here. Old Scotch 6-4-40, St Pat's 3-4-22. Morgan gets rid of his opponent. Sits. It's going to be okay there. Sits. Whoa, St Pat's player almost mark on the goal line. And how did that stay in play? How did that stay in play? What a great piece of clever play from Tom Everett. Again, Matt Chatwin, that last line of defence for Old Scotch. Why wouldn't you punch it through?
I'm not entirely certain how that stayed in play. Maybe it's the angle here. It must have bounced right on the goal line, but that's one of their leaders, their captain in Tommy Everett, giving him a spark here early. You can see the way he's reacted, that he's trying to fire his team up, but that might be just the kickstarter they need. I thought Alex Russell had the mark for all money as well. He used his body fantastically well and spilled it at the last moment, so they probably got the result they were always going to get, but pressure does funny things on that last line of defence. People just lose sense of what they're doing, and what could have been a conceded behind is turned into a goal.
Yeah, luck's a fortune. They've had a couple of those today, St Pat's, so will that be the difference? Ballum, again taken away by St Pat's through the agency of Collins. Drives it forward, ball bobbling. And it's a clever play there from the Scotch defender. Got on the right side of his opponent, the goal side. Jacob Reynolds, that was clever. He made a mistake in the first quarter, gifting a goal to the St Pat's player by being on the wrong side. So that time on the right side, the defensive side, not letting his St Pat's opponent get a clean run at it. Hazelwood gets rid of his opponent. It's going to sit okay there. Quick kick forward in the Russell direction. Doesn't sit for him, but it does this time. And that's a goal! Just watching on the screen there, the ball went higher than it went further, but that's a fantastic goal there from Drew Clark. 2 in a row for St Pat's, and it's game on. Old Scotch 6-4-40, St Pat's 5-4-34, and we're just about to tick over 12 minutes. Matt Chatwin.
Very reminiscent of the way they started the game, by just getting it out of the centre, get it going forward, and backing their forwards in one-on-one to have an impact. I've said it a couple of times, there's a lot of talent down in that St Pat's forward line. You just got to get the footy into them to their advantage, and I feel like that's where they've broken down, that the connection hasn't been there. You haven't given the forwards the advantage. Get it in there to them, let them go to work, and that's a really nice finish, although a very high finish by Drew Clark, making the most of a very small opportunity.
Game on. Back in the middle, Ballum. Scotch are going to get first look at it here. A little quick kick forward in the Mackenzie direction. Doesn't quite sit for him, but he gathers it well. Evans. Quick kick off the ground there inside 50. Just bounces in front of Tim Walker. Umpire says that's mine. He's going to ball that one up about 40 metres out in the Old Scotch goal. Bit of end-for-end stuff. St Pat's stringing a couple together. George Walker, first hand on that time. Tom Allison keeps it in front of him. Under pressure. Clever that time from Andrew Scollier. St Pat's really keen to get this out of their defensive 50. Lots of bodies around the footy. Umpire Dolby says that's mine. Today's action brought to you by Jeremy Wilkinson from Harcourts Launceston, the Tasmanian Agent of the Year 5 years running. Great supporter of local NTFA football. St Pat's Collins. Clever kick forward. Chopped off only as far as Liam Page in defence for Scotch. Back towards the centre of the ground, and that's going to be all right to Will Gray. The next kick's going to be the important one. Whoa! Flies but doesn't take it. St Pat's player there clutching his knee. We'll keep an eye on that one. Lasky taken high. Doesn't like the treatment and tells his Scotch opponent all about it. St Pat's player down there in back play. Hope he's okay. It's Drew Clark, the last goal scorer. He just seemed to land awkwardly on that knee, Matt.
Yeah. They've signalled for the stretcher here. He grabbed that right knee straight away. It's not the sort of reaction you like to see. You do hope it's not as serious as it looks, but it's not looking promising here for poor Drew. Yeah,
we hope he's okay. Just also a big shout out today to MF, Murdoch Clark Mortgage Fund, Launceston and Hobart, and the Athlete's Foot in the Brisbane Street Mall, Launceston. Also terrific supporters of today's NTFA Division 1 Grand Final Day. And as we've noted, we need to support local business, and we can't do what we do without those local businesses who are supporting a day like today. Players have got into their huddles while the St Pat's player Drew Clark is attended to and taken off the ground. We hope he's okay, but as Matt Chatman said, just landed awkwardly on that knee. So hoping all is okay there. So while they're in the huddles, Matt, we're going to put you on the spot here. What would you be saying if you were in the Scotch Oakburn huddle, given that got off to a flyer and St Pat's have come back with those 2 late goals?
It's probably it's horrible. It is. It's probably come for a good time to them, because St Pat's starting to get a bit of momentum there, so this at least allows them to pause and reset and just go back to what they were doing early on in the quarter. St Pat's just want to keep the play moving here. They want to continue kicking those quick goals in a row like they were doing. You've seen in that last patch of play, Scotch still have that attacking mindset. They haven't gone defensive in any way, shape or form. It was a risky switch to try and open up the field, so they want to keep taking the game on. They just got to get the game back on their terms.
All the best as Drew Clark leaves the ground. We hope that knee injury is not too bad, but he'll certainly be missed as well. Like, he kicked that good goal, and he's certainly been one of those dangerous players that you talked about, Matt Chatman, in that forward line. Laskey's got the relieving free kick here, and he goes down the line, carries everyone, and out of bounds in the interchange area. Nearly 16.5 minutes gone. We've got Old Scotch 6-4-40, St Pat's 5-4-34. Old Scotch the first couple of goals of the third term, and St Pat's the next 2. So very even between the minor premiers and the only side that's defeated them all year. Taken out of the air by Blizzard. Quick kick forward. Umpire's found a holding free kick there, umpire Dolby. And that's going to be a free kick to Old Scotch. It's going to be taken there by Josh Freestone. Freestone runs around, drives that deep inside 50. Doesn't really sit for the Scotch player. St Pat's have got the numbers around the footy. Quick kick forward there. And unfortunately for Matt Humphrey, it's not registered a score. It's going to be a boundary throw in next to the behind post.
Alex Russell's gone to half back here, so not having the impact they want ahead of the footy, and obviously a very talented footballer, so they've released him to half back to try and get the footy in his hands.
Scotch will want to snag one here, you get a sense from this. Big jump there from Ballum. It's going to be all right here for Allison. Swings round onto the left, has a shot on goal. Only as far as the ever-reliable Tim Fall. He always seems to be in the right position, Tim Fall, and that's a nice outlet kick to his teammate there in Addison Coslett. Coslett goes to Young. Clay Young. Back towards the centre of the ground. Back to Coslett, who's run on and given him an option. Coslett squares it up. Back there to Patrick Lawrence. Lawrence goes long and deep with that one. Doesn't sit for... Oh, that's nice. Nicely gathered there by Blizzard. Brenton Cook, we talked about how important he is for St Pat's. Beautifully tackled there. Scotch are going to come away with it. That's a bit of a wayward handball. St Pat's have another look at it inside 50. Oh, ball beats everyone. All it's got to do is sit here for Tom Everett. He's going to make it number 3, and he does! Tom Everett playing a captain's knock here, and that's goal number 3. And it's all square, Matt Chatwin. 6-4-40 apiece as we've ticked over 17 minutes in the third term.
don't know if that's happened organically or whether it's a tactical move, but we spoke about Alex Russell's gone back, Cook getting up around the ground ahead of the footy, and they've put Tommy Everett, probably unlikely to be their stay-at-home full forward, but that seems to be the role he's playing at the moment, as you've identified, kicking his third goal. So they've moved a couple of magnets around just to change momentum, and it's paying off dividends with Everett kicking 2 in the quarter.
Yeah, and you got the feeling, Matt, they had to do something because those first couple of goals to Scotch, the tide started to turn. But, gee whiz, they say the third quarter is the premiership quarter. Well, at the moment, St Pat's have really wrested that momentum back. So the next couple of minutes are going to be crucial, one, thanks to the outcome of this game. And the ball goes back up in the middle. It's perhaps a high tackle there on the St Pat's player. I think the umpires agreed with me there. Nathan James taken high. He was really busy in the first quarter, James. Went quiet in the second quarter, but he's had a couple of key possessions in this third term. Goes long into Big Hazelwood there at full forward. Gathers. Going to be a shot on goal here from St Pat's. Wayward kick though there by Clay Young. Boundary line's the winner. We're just about to hit 20 minutes, all square in the Division 1 Reserves Grand Final. Rob Soward, Matt Chatwin, your commentators here at UTAS Stadium in a beautiful sunny spring day. Deep throw in, Blizzard, nice tap. Scotch are going to want to clear this out. It's just a big kick there to open space. I wonder if that'll be an insufficient intent. I reckon they'll ask the question. The umpire says no, that's okay. That's going to be a throw in. The St Pat's player also, Bailey Cattrall, asking the question there. It was just a kick to tick the grass, wasn't it, Matt?
Yeah, I reckon they probably wanted to stay in. They didn't actually want it to go out, Scott, because they had the player running onto the footy, so I don't know how you could claim they want it to go out.
Blizzard and Hazelwood doing battle again here. Call that one a draw. Barwick trying to extract it for St Pat's. Collins pushes his opponent out of that contest.
You look across the ground, there's one-on-ones everywhere as well. So although scores are even, both teams are going all out attack still. They're not thinking defensively in any way.
Hazelwood kicked that one forward. I think that's found the chalk, umpire Dolby says, and calls on the umpire to throw it in. James Langley with a wry smile on his face. Deep into attack for St Pat's. Taken out there by Nathan James, that is. All bobbling around. Clever little kick there. Packed back inside, and that's a great mark taken there by that man, Tom Everett again. Why didn't he start at full forward, Matt?
It's probably not the role he expected to play when he turned up here this morning, but he's absolutely dominating down there. They can't find the matchup, and he's look at a fourth here, which is a massive effort and a real captain's effort.
We're not too far away from siren time here at three-quarter time. As Tommy Everett moves in on the left. He likes it. He likes it a lot. Gee whiz, the last 4 goals to St Pat's, and Everett has been on fire at full forward. That's his 4th goal. And St Pat's regained the lead, 7-4-46. Old Scotch, 6-4-40, Matt Chatwin. What can they do to stop him?
Great question. I've spoke about how they lack connection, but what they've done is they've put a really small mobile guy that's just reacting to those hack quicks quicker than his opponent. So that was nothing more than just a quick snap out of the pack. Reacted quickly, took the chest mark, set shot, goal. So it's a really clever coaching move by the St Pat's coaching board to put someone who's probably more midfield type as their full forward to just allow that quick reaction.
Today's action brought to you by Jeremy Wilkinson from Harcourts in Launceston, Tasmanian Agent of the Year 5 years running. And the umpires found a free kick to Ryan Sheriff in the centre of the ground to give Old Scotch a look at it just before three-quarter time siren. Scotch trying to come away with something, perhaps taken high. Quick kick forward there from Allison. Ball bobbling. Walker for his second, and he kicks the goal. Oh, that's exactly what they would have wanted. Right in the shadows of three-quarter time. George Walker with a crumbing goal, the big forward. He'll be talking about that one, don't worry, all week. That's a terrific effort from George Walker. Kicked a goal earlier in the quarter, but that's a great effort. Reward for effort there. And we're all square again, Matt Chatwin.
And we got a great vantage point from where we're sitting. There was not much daylight on that finish, so that's a really skillful finish from the big fella.
Well, and timely too, because that was the three-quarter time siren. Three-quarter time, the NTFA Division 1 Reserves Grand Final. Old Scotch, 7-4-46. St Pat's, 7-4-46. Quickly go through the goal scorers. For Old Scotch, we've got goals to Ryan Sheriff, George Walker, 2 each. Singles to Ricky Evans, Daniel Ellis and Christian Mulder. And for St Pat's, Tom Everett has got 4, and singles there to Russell, James and Clark. So three-quarter time, all to do, 1 quarter left after, you'd probably conservatively say, wouldn't you, 9 months of effort to get here today. 22 minutes in front of us, Matt Chatwin. I'm going to ask you to put yourself in these 2 huddles. The Scotch coach, the St Pat's coach, what message are you giving them?
Great question. I'm glad I'm not in that position, because it's do or die time here. Scores even heading into the last quarter. I imagine you're just asking for a bit of composure and asking for your team to finish the job and just do what they've been doing really, really well. So we've seen that when Scotch are playing well, they're nullifying St Pat's advantages at the clearances, and they're moving the footy really, really well. So they don't need to win the clearances, they just need to nullify that advantage. If you're the St Pat's coach, you're just asking your ruckman, Ballum in particular, when he's in there, it looks like they have a clear advantage in terms of the hit-outs and their midfielders getting on the move and winning the clearances. So you're probably getting a bit of sugar, maybe the pickle juice into Jai Ballum to make sure he's ready to go for 22 minutes straight here, because I feel like he's going to play a really important role. But fitness is really going to be the key here. So you're encouraging your players to rest, not panic, but just get ready for a big last quarter.
Yeah, look, it's, you know, you don't want to draw too fine a point on it, but all that pre-season, all that hard work, I'm giving these reserves players a bit of a pump up here too, because I know a few reserves players who don't turn up for pre-season. They turn up in round 1. But, you know, from what we've seen here today, there's 2 sides that have done a lot of work to get here. St Pat's, a terrific regular season, as we said, top of the ladder, undefeated. The only defeat they suffered was in that second semi-final against Old Scotch, who got the better on that occasion. And as Matt Chatwin has said, and great insight there, Matt, with your comments about what the coaches would be asking from them. There's 22 minutes left in their season when it's all said and done. Playing on a big ground on a warm day, so you get the sense that the side that's going to be fittest is going to be the side that prevails.
And you also look out there, you've got your senior squads out there doing a bit of their three-quarter time warm-up and stuff like that. These guys, they train together, they eat players' tea together, they're good mates and stuff like that, so they want to see their mates do well as well, so they'll be getting a lot of encouragement from their teammates, although in a different side out there as well.
The other thing too that, you know, we've touched on during the game, Matt, is the fact that a number of these players on both sides have experienced success at the higher level. We talked about, you know, the Tom Allisons and the Daniel Ellises there for Old Scotch. You look through those guys, and then on the other side, guys like Tim Fall, Brenton Cook, you know, very experienced heads. Alex Russell, a premiership player up at South Launceston as a young fellow. You look at the Collinses, I know I've enjoyed some success with their junior football at South Launceston. So, you know, it's certainly a mixture of some old heads and some younger heads, but what a spectacle our viewers and listeners will be in for in this last quarter.
We've seen and quoted St Pat's did a couple of really nice moves, isolating Everett at full forward. They moved Russell down back and whatnot, so you never know. There might be another sneaky move someone's got up their sleeve here. It looks like Everett's going to full forward here again. I know it's James Langley, Everett in a forward pocket, but if they do make that move as an opposition, you've got to react quickly as well.
Umpire holds the ball aloft. Rob Soward, Matt Chatwin, Division 1 Reserves Grand Final. All square. Old Scotch 7-4-46. St Pat's 7-4-46. The last quarter commences. Ballum rises well there. He's going to be really important this quarter. Taken away by St Pat's. Clever little tap on there Ball bobbling around, trying to gain possession. Pedley runs into his opponent. Great tackle there. Pressure's been ramped up. The umpire's picked a free kick out. And I think that's going to be a free kick. Is it against Collins? Yeah, it's a free kick there to Aidan Collins. No, it's not. He's given it off to Cody Lasky. He's given it back to Aidan Collins, who's loaded up on that big left leg. First score in this quarter so important. Sheriff out to Tom Allison. Ball bobbling around just near the boundary line. Clever there from Ricky Evans. Puts his teammate under a bit of pressure though. And that's a nice tackle there by the St Pat's player, just slowly getting up. Ballum taps it down, kick forward. St Pat's first use off that stoppage. Ball bobbling around. Umpire says that's mine after the ball comes out, and the St Pat's player in Barwick hacks it forward. The ball on the wing position. Early stages of the last quarter, all square in the Division 1 Reserves Grand Final. Big tap there from Hazelwood. Big body, that's a pooh. He's effected a massive tackle there on Fright, but the umpire adjudicated he did go a little bit high. Brad Fright will take the relieving free kick there for Old Scotch. He's been one of their better players today, and he's picked out a teammate who's also been good in Ben Russell. Switches play. Ben Russell's found Liam Page, who looks to play on. Give the Scotchies the first look at it inside 50. Ball brought to ground, bobbling around there. Freestone trying to conjure something up. The umpire says that's a throw. And that was mainly due to the pressure exerted by Callum Russell. Callum Russell with a nice long kick in the Ballum direction. Ballum's asking for hands in the back, which I reckon Matt Chapman, you were like me, you saw there. Wry smile from Matt Humphrey. Had the hands in the numbers, didn't he?
Yes, I like that matchup. The ruckmen have literally played on each other everywhere they go. When the Ballum and Humphrey drop out, it's both Blizzard and Hazelwood that come in and take over the ruck duties. Just a head-to-head duel.
Scotch defence steadies. They stood up well in that second term. Probably not as good in the third term. That's a great pressure tackle. That's a fantastic tackle there by Bailey Cattrall. Last line of defence for St Pat's. He's picked out his teammate in Collins, who's got busy at the start of this last quarter, Matt. We called his name a lot in the second term.
Yeah, and I've been paying close attention to Nathan James, who looks like he's playing a bit of a run-with role on Pedley. Pedley was very active early and giving him a lot of drive. So although James has probably been quieter since his good start, he's also nullifying a very dangerous opponent.
It's a nice inside 50 there from Fright, although steadying play there from Ben Arkless, although he's put that one out on the full. He probably overthought that then. I think he was trying to find the boundary line, but he's blasted it out of play. Umpire Tom Allison's looking to move it in quickly, and he picked out Ricky Evans, but the umpire said, no, you've got to come back here and go over the mark. So Tommy Allison with the relieving free kick for out of bounds on the full there. Today's match brought to you by Jeremy Wilkinson from Harcourts in Launceston, Tasmanian Agent of the Year 5 years running. It's a shot on goal there that's missed everything from Allison, not his best. We've just ticked over 4 minutes, and you can't split them, Matt Chatwin. 46 apiece, Old Scotch and Pats.
No, it's a testament to both coaching groups that it's still one-on-one all over the ground. There's no spare players. They're trying to beat each other at their own games. They're trying to play quickly and skillfully, which I really like. It's great mindset by the coaching groups.
Alex Russell's picked out Liam Page there, giving Scotch a look at it. Sheriff kicks into the man on the mark. Might create something here for St Pat's. It's well gathered there by Tom Pedley, that man we mentioned a moment ago. We reckon they've thrown a tag on him, as you've said, and in that instance, it's good play there from Pedley, outnumbered, and they'd settle for a boundary throw in there into attack. Approaching the 5-minute mark of the last term, Division 1 Reserves Grand Final, all square still, Old Scotch and St Pat's. Ballum and Humphrey beats them both. Sheriff. It's a nice tackle. Affected on Collins, and he escorts him over the boundary line. So Anybody's game still. You sort of not game to perhaps predict a winner here at the moment because they are so even, both of these teams today. Both having momentum at different times and then the other side wresting the momentum back from them. So the game's there to be won, that's for sure. Ballum and Humphrey. Ballum, nice tap. Scotch are going to be the beneficiary though if it sits. Picked up by Ricky Evans. Goes by hand back to Sheriff. Ball eludes him. Collins bursting through. Gets unloaded. Scots players run into each other. No talk there. Quick kick forward. Chopped off beautifully. That's a really, really nice mark by James Lee under pressure. He's been one of Scotch's best today, I'd suggest. Big long kick from Lee. Ball's going to land just on 50. Big punch there from the St Pat's defender trying to clear the area. The ruckman and Humphrey lumbering after it. Comes back to Sheriff, who's kicked a couple for them today. Well, it's all St Pat's, but it lands beautifully there for Walker.
Play on, I think they might have called touched.
Umpire must have signalled touch. Freestone throws it on the boot, can't get the required angle on it. St Pat's just bang it out of defence. Leading in the race, the ball's Tom Pedley. Barwick hot on his hammer. Ball sits, that's beautifully picked up by Fried. He's been really good today. Clever pass inside, bounces off hands. Fall, mops up for St Pat's as he's done often today. Back in the Collins direction. Collins finds a teammate there in James. James goes by hand back to Mackerel. Mackerel runs, bobs, weaves, runs in circles, turns, touches it down. Two Scotch opponents on him. He eludes them both. Nice long kick out of defence there by the St Pat's defender. Quick kick forward from the Scotch player in Reynolds. Barwick affecting some pressure there on Fryatt. That's been a nice battle too today. Both have been very important players, Matt Chatwin, for their sides.
Yeah, both had moments that have been really, really important. Fryatt especially stood up under some immense pressure early on. He's probably got quieter, but as a result of his team getting on top of general play. Another interesting thing I picked up, when play was on this near side here, St Pat's managed to get a full 5 rotations in, so they've got a lot of fresh legs out there, which could become important late in the quarter.
You're not going to want to cough it up here if you're Scotch in the middle of the ground, and that's exactly what they've done. Great pressure. So, what can they do? Collins, one of the best today. Tristan, Collins of the Tristan variety, that is, the twin brother of Aiden. St Pat's deep inside 50, and that's a great mark to Lasky, who's drifted across the front of the pack, put himself in the right spot, and has taken a mark. Ben Lasky, 30 metres out from goal. I'm being generous there with the distance.
Consummate defender as well. Wouldn't have played a lot of footy as a forward, so I don't know if that's a tactical move or he's just drifted in play.
Nice run up, moves in. Heads goalwards. Offline. Breaks the tie. 8 minutes and 27 seconds on the scoreboard. Scotch 7-4-46 trailing St Pat's. 7-5-47. Barwick gives it to his teammate in James, looking for another look at it. Back to that player in Tristan Collins. Tristan Collins, a little short one, and he's picked out Clay Young, who's taken a mark just inside 50, and he's going back to have a shot on goal. His eyes darting around, he looks to give it off, which he does. And he's found Tristan Collins, who's also looking to play on. Collins plays on, runs in, goes goalwards. Off hands. Scotch had plenty of hands back there. And that's an off hands behind. They go to 7-6-48. Old Scotch 7-4-46. Ball comes back into play. Scotch player under immense pressure there, Jacob Reynolds. Ball heads back inside 50. St Pat's player in the right position. Oh, he dropped the mark. Young. Pedley clears it out. That's going to be all right for him. James Marshall fumbles though. Leads in the race of the ball. Under pressure. Handballs to open space. St Pat's really ramping the pressure up there. That ball. Tired players, Matt Chatwin, you sense. Collins perhaps taken without it. Or was it a throw?
It's where you need your composure and just execute your skills under this sort of pressure. The young Marshall there trying to take a running bounce and just put himself under so much more pressure by not executing a basic skill. So that's where you just got to keep your head and make sure you do the basics.
Alex McKenzie gives it off by hand. St Pat's back there in that last line of defence. Ben Lasky, both ends of the ground. Little short one. It's going to be all right to Patrick Lawrence. For a deliberate build-up out in the direction of Russell. Of the Callum variety, that is. Callum Russell wants him to run at him. Kicks to a contest. Big ruckman there in Hazelwood. He's been good today. Full forward, changing in the ruck. He's had a great battle with Stephen Blizzard. And like Matt Chatwin said earlier, with the two starting ruckmen, those two have followed themselves everywhere. Blizzard started at full back. Hazelwood started at full forward. And they're giving the ruckman a chop out. Big bodies. That time it's Blizzard. Scotch try and conjure something. And just ticked over 11 minutes. It's chopped off across half back there by Dylan Wells. Wells goes back in board. Lasky, clever little kick forward. It's going to sit all right. Back to Fried. He's been one of Scotch's best today, trying to swing onto that trusty left foot. Kicks to space. It's going to be all right though. McKenzie gathers. Goes back to Ben Russell. Ben Russell inside 50, beats everyone. It's going to sit, I think, though, for Ricky Evans or Daniel Ellis. Ellis squares it up. Finds a player all by himself in Allison. Allison on goal. He's put Scotch in front.
That just shows the value of experience and composed, calm heads that have been there before. You've got Ellis, you've got Allison, just identified that they had time, space to execute their skills, find the easy option, and it results in a goal. They could have easily lost their head, blazed it away, flipped it over the shoulder, but just really composed heads that have been in this situation before, and it shows in their experience in the way they've done it.
There's certainly no substitute for experience in a situation like this, a pressure cooker grand final. You've got 10 minutes of your season left, and the old hands there, Ellis to Allison, and goal. So, ball back in the middle, ruckman do battle. Humphrey copped the knock. There, just some incidental contact from Ballum. They've had a great battle today, those two. Ballum certainly has been on top for most of it, but Humphreys battled on. This occasion, Ballum again. I notice they've got Blizzard up around the footy. Big, strong presence that he is. Hazelwood, I should say. His opponent is Blizzard. Followed him everywhere today. They do battle that time. St Pat's player caught. The umpire's going to say no. He didn't have an opportunity to get rid of it. It's Dylan Wells. Blizzard and Hazelwood. Lots of tired bodies around the footy, you sense, Matt Chatwin.
Yeah, time not yet a factor, but it is starting to tick away slowly, so you'd think Scotch wouldn't mind if a stoppage or two creeps into play and kill a bit of time off the clock, gives them a few more options while they've got the lead.
Yeah, Wells again. Dylan Wells. 13:30 gone. Old Scotch 8-4-52, St Pat's 7-6-48. Collins. Exit forward in the Barwick direction. That's a nice mark taken there by Matt Barwick. Squares it up. Ooh. Scotch player on the wrong side of him. St Pat's player attack on goal, and he's offline. That's one of those examples. We talked about it a bit earlier where the player goes into the contest, but he's on the wrong side. He was on the attacking side. Gave a St Pat's player an unimpeded look at the goals, but unfortunately he couldn't convert. Fright brings it back in for Old Scotch. Nice long kick towards the ruckman. Player there bursting through in James Marshall. He's played a good game today for the Scotchman. Goes long, ball bobbles around inside 50. Brenton Cook, Scolia. Comes out. It's going to sit there for Ellis, I think. Daniel Ellis. Out of bounds on the full. He's collected the post on the way through. No addition to the score. Today's action brought to you by Jeremy Wilkinson from Harcourts in Launceston, Tasmanian Agent of the Year for 5 years running. And we'd also like to shout out to MCMF, Murdoch Clark Mortgage Fund, Launceston and Hobart, and the Athlete's Foot, Brisbane Street Mall, Launceston.
So stoppage on the half-back flank here. Ballum and Humphrey go at it. Kick from stoppage, inside 50. Gathered by Sheriff. Hasn't got a clear disposal away. He'll be pinged holding the ball. Russell, who wants to get the footy moving quickly. Hands off to Mackerel. To centre wing. Blizzard and Hazelwood again do battle. Bit of a high knock there, but play on. Barwick streaming away. Gives it off to Morgan. Looking inside 50. And unfortunately, the kick's just not to the advantage of his forward. And the intercept mark there taken by O'Byrne. Chip shortly.
He's picked out his teammate. The clock's starting to work against them. That's gone in the direction there of Tom Pedley.
Intercept mark there taken by Nathan James, who goes back inside 50, and that's a wonderful contested mark by Clay Young in front of his opponent, who's going to go back and take the set shot. I was going to make the point before, Rob, win, lose or draw, I reckon St Pat's are going to rue how many long shots on goal they've had. They just haven't been able to create the opportunity to have shots inside that 20-metre arc. It always feels like these longer shots.
This is Clay Young's most important kick probably in his career, I'd say, as he's approaching. Try to give the lead back to St Pat's, and he's offline. And as Matt Chatwin said, I think a big part of that has come from the fact that they've given up their shots in difficult situations.
Yeah, and you just compare that to Scotch, who have been able to, and you think of that Allison goal that might be the crucial goal, just being able to have that shot in the last 15 metres. That's going to be very important for them.
Hello, the umpire's found a 50 here. Looks like Jai Ballum. I'm not sure what happened there. Did he run through the mark? Is that what it was?
I missed it myself as well, sorry Rob, but this is one way to create a closer shot on goal, to take the mark and then have that 50-metre penalty. He's been very important from all day, Ballum, so this is an important moment.
And Ballum has missed. Oh, my goodness.
Starting to add up now, the missed shots, 7-9 to 8-4.
Yeah, you start to get a bit of a feeling. There's 4 minutes to play, 8-4-52. Old Scotch, St Pat's 7-9-51. Fright brings it back into play. We've got a couple of good minutes ahead of us. I've got no doubt about that. Christian Mulder, goal scorer earlier in the game. Takes a telling mark there across half-back and goes long, deep. Ball's going to sit. That's going to be okay for Old Scotch. They're going to get an inside 50. St Pat's have got the numbers. Fall peels off. Goes back in board there in the direction of Saunders. Saunders on goal! Saunders! Alex Saunders might have sealed it for the Scotchman.
That is a fantastic finish under pressure, and just when we're talking about the value of making the most of your opportunities, he was probably running the wrong direction as well, so outside of the foot type kick there, but that's a fantastic finish under the pressure. It's not a name we've called often, but he's got his moment and he's made the most of his moment, and that's a fantastic finish. Going to be very interesting to see what the teams do here now. We've got 3 minutes left on the clock. You imagine Scotch want to sort of slow it down and start to get a spare behind the footy. St Pat's are going to try and get the footy in motion as much as possible here. They want chaos. They want to keep it moving. They've got to try and kick 2.
You happy with it? 2.5 minutes to go. Great tackle. That's a fantastic tackle. It's that man Mulder again. We've called him a couple of times in the last minute. Took a great mark across half back, and that's a telling tackle coming from that stoppage.
And
the umpire's found 50.
I don't think the ball was returned directly. It's probably touchy, but it is there. It is. They have played that one a couple of times today, so it's been consistent. It certainly does not help their cause, St Pat's.
No, and this is where, as we've said, you know, not only are you behind on the scoreboard, but the clock's your enemy as well. So it's in the hands of Mulder. He's going to kick from just outside 50. Just a little chip kick. Oh, he had a player there in Evans all by himself. Picked up Russell, Ben, of the Ben variety that is. There's a few Russells out here today. Ben Russell from Old Scotch, one of their better players today. And I'm going to go to Matt Chatwin after the game for his take on the best from both sides. But we've just ticked over 20 and a half minutes, so we've got 90 seconds left of this season. The ball's deep in the Scotch forward line. Scotch player leak there in St Pat's player leak there in Collins. He's found a teammate in Scollier. Scollier moves it on quickly, tries to take the corridor back and finds a teammate there in Lawrence. Lawrence back in the centre of the ground. Lots of bodies around the footy. Russell bursts through. Scotch have got the numbers around it. The experience of Allison picks it up. Hacks it forward. The bounce is going to be all right for him. It's going to be all right for Old Scotch. It's a quick kick forward from Matthew Humphrey. And you can hear from the crowd reaction, that's an Old Scotch mark. Taken there by Alex Saunders, who kicked the goal that we thought was the sealer. Well, with 30 seconds left to play, you'd reckon he'd be taking every second of this, Matthew Chapman.
He might as well. He might as well wait for the umpire to call him to play on here, because the job's almost done, but he's got an opportunity to kick 2 in the last 5 minutes and really set his name in stone. You'll have some fantastic stories here tonight if he kicks this one.
Saunders moves in and kicks the goal. Old Scotch are going to be premiers in the Division 1 reserves competition. They move on to 10-4-64. St Pat's minor premiers 7-9-51, and that's a siren. Old Scotch premiers for season 2023, and St Pat's will rue what has been a terrific season for them. A terrific season, the minor premiership undefeated, but come finals time in the second semi and today, Matt Chatwin, Old Scotch got it done.
And from a club perspective, it's been a fantastic day for Scotch so far. We spoke about at the start of the game, their under-18s getting through to a grand final by a point down in Georgetown. Now their reserves getting the job done. I know their women played today. I was just checking for a result for that one, Rob. I can't give it to you here at the moment, but with all 4 teams playing today, 2 of them have got the job done, and it's really setting the tone so that when the seniors run out, they get to look up the scoreboard. They feel that euphoria for their mates that we spoke about at 3/4 time. So it's fantastic reward for effort. You do feel for St Pat's, who have now lost 2 years in a row, obviously going down to OLs last year and now Scotch this year, and they've played really well in both of those games and had opportunities in both of those games. So it's going to be some hard moments for them, but they've had a fantastic season. They've put up a great effort today, but Scotch just too good.
Yeah, as you say, Matt, as we see the players lining up and shaking hands and congratulating each other, you really do feel for St Pat's. I mean, to go through a season undefeated and, work your way through winter and keep coming out week after week and getting it done, particularly when your senior side is doing really well as well. You do all that hard work and you get to the finals and second year in a row. So commiserations to St Pat's, some great people in that club, and as we've called during the game there, a lot of long serving players, a good mix of young and old. And I'm sure, Matt, next year, I know we've only just finished this year in this comp, but I'm sure next year they'll regroup. They've always been very strong in that reserves competition, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely, and they're a very proud club. Their seniors are obviously there and thereabouts as well. A big chance to right the wrongs of this match, I suppose, in the next result, and that'll be their mindset from a senior perspective. I know their partnership with the Prospect Hawks, their under-18s program starting up there at St Pat's, has been really strong with their boys playing finals, so I have no doubt that come this time next year, St Pat's will be there and thereabouts the mark in all grades.
For the victors, though, finished second on the ladder. Their senior side actually is undefeated, and I'm sure we'll get to that when we start talking about the senior grand final. But to come from second on the ladder, there's obviously great depth in that club, and with both clubs, as we've said, it's great to see a number of players who've done their schooling at both St Pat's and Scotch Oakburn continue to remain involved with the club. There's a number of players we know are old St Pat's boys or old Scotch boys. So congratulations to Old Scotch on what was a terrific victory, and not much in it all day, Matt, really, was there? You sort of, I know I remarked in the last quarter, if someone had said to me, who's going to win, I would have found it really hard to have a prediction that I was confident in. It was very, very close all day.
Yeah, absolutely, and that probably leads into some of the better players that I identified throughout the day. And you look at some of their experienced names that have played in some senior premierships and stuff like that, in Allison, Ellis, Walker, that had big moments late in the game that I thought were really important. I was fascinated by the ruck duel. I thought Humphrey did a fantastic job to nullify Ballum's influence probably after quarter time, and his physicality around the footy was fantastic. Ben Russell, I thought he provided a lot of run, and on this big ground he really maximised his strengths to have an impact on the game. Sheriff kicking too was fantastic, and also I thought Brad Fright down back held up and was really composed with the footy, took a lot of the kick-outs, and there was a few of them for St Pat, so all of those boys had a fantastic game, I thought. Blizzard as well, I thought every time he went into the ruck he gave them a bit of drive. Everett, 4 goals in the grand final as a captain is a fantastic effort, and he should keep his head really high, and I can see him down here keeping his boys up and about, being really positive with his group and stuff like that, so that's why he's the leader that he is. I thought Coslett, I thought he provided a lot of run off half back. It's hard to tell some of the long sleeve boys apart, but I thought he'd give them a lot of drive off half back. The role that James did on Pedley to nullify his influence was really important, and the Collins brothers just racked up the footy around the centre of the ground, so all of those guys had some big impact on today's result.
We're going to be heading down on ground shortly with the Master of Ceremonies, Rick Fontaine, and I can see him there chatting with some NTFA officials for the presentations obviously coming up. You can see a big crowd of people gathering around the Old Scotch Premiership team, family and friends and well-wishers and supporters, and as we've said, Matt, throughout the day we've got a replay of this one in the senior fixture where Old Scotch undefeated all year against St Pat's, last year's premiers, and as we've said, a replay actually of last year's grand final. And it was a strange grand final in that it was one where St Pat's had been the dominant side all year, but Scotch had their chances last year. I think at one stage Charlie Easto may have been their only goal scorer. I think he kicked 4. Terrific effort from a small forward, but missed some costly shots. St Pat's were very, very good in their defensive structure, got it done, and I know there is a sense, having been in the Old Scotch rooms earlier, there's a sense they want to reverse that result today. We're getting ready for the presentations now as the Old Scotch players are moving over, and the stage is set, ready to go. You can see the AFL Premiership Cup there, unfortunately this year not having the Richmond Football Club's name engraved on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for both our teams. Wonderful grand final. First of all, I'd like to call on Sean Muller to present the umpires medal. Sean. Thank you, Sean. Well done to the umpires today, as they have been all day. I'd now like to call on the coach of St Pat's, Tim Fall, to come up and say a few words. Tim.
Jeez, what a battle. Well done to Sam in the Scotch too, he's unreal. Great game. We've had a couple of big games in the last couple of weeks, and clearly the better side today, so well done. Thanks to the NTFA for another fantastic season. Our boys, that hurts, but bigger job is about to happen now. We're here for the senior premiership, so we'll stick together, have a couple of beers and watch them. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you, Tim. Can we have Scott Rigby come forward, please, as we announce the best on ground for the grand final? Of course, Scott, the president of the NTFA, and the winner of the award wins a $100 voucher from the Athlete's Foot. The winner of the medal for best on ground from Old Scotch, Tom Allison. Well done, Tom. Got to shout the bar, apparently. It's not bad. Right, let's get into the premiership medals now. So we'll call them out player by player. Starting at number 2, Ricky Evans. Colin Foon, the life member of the NTFA, is presenting these. Number 3, Tom Allison. Number 4, Daniel Ellis. It's a bit of a task for Daniel, but he's going to get here. Might have to go to him, Colin, I reckon. Number 8, Tom Pedley. Number 11, Tim Walker. Number 12, James Lee. So we'll get all the players to walk across to this side of the stage when you finish. Thank you. Number 15, Brad Fryatt. Number 18, Ryan Sheriff. Number 26, Jeremy Tucson. Number 28, George Walker. Number 30, Will Gray. Number 31, Alex McKenzie. Number 36, Lachlan Bremner. Number 38, Ben Russell. Number 41, Stephen Blizzard. Number 42, Daniel O'Byrne. Number 44, James Marshall. Number 46, Matthew Humphrey. Number 49, Christian Mulder. Number 56, Liam Page. Number 64, Alex Saunders. Number 71, Josh Freestone. Number 73, Rory Fagan. And last but not least, the captain, number 21, Jacob Reynolds. I'd now like to call on the winning coach, Sam Lyne, to come forward.
Thank you, St Pat's fellas, for firstly hanging out here, and Folsey, and can you hear it? This is like being in the club rooms. Thank you, Folsey and Clint. Bad luck, fellas. Look forward to the next game. Well done to my fellas. It's for some reason I've managed to coach, but I don't know if I've done much. You fellas have done a really good job. And it's just great to see all those who've missed out still up and about. Thanks to the NTFA. Do you want me to say anyone else? Anyone want me to sing? No, righto. Thank you.
Just hang around, Sam. We'll give you your premiership medal as well. The winning coach, Sam Lyne. There he is. We'd now like to call on Sean Muller to present the cup, or the premiership flag, I should say, to the winning club president, John Bales. Sorry, Jim Dennis, I should say. Sorry, Jim. Now, last but not least, we'd like one of the club legends, I'll get it right this time, John Bales, to present the Premiership Cup to the winning captain and coach, Tom Everett and Sam Lyne from the Old Scotch Football Club. Sorry, Jake Reynolds. I've had a mare toward the end. There we go. About ready to go.
And what a great set of presentations they were. Old Scotch premiers in the NTFA Division 1 Reserves competition. And just recapping that score, Old Scotch 10-4-64, St Pat's 7-9-51. So fantastic result there for Old Scotch. Commiserations to St Pat's, and great to see them lining up to welcome their senior players onto the ground for the senior grand final, which will be starting in a little while. So please stay tuned as we have a little break and do the pre-game ceremonies there. But on behalf of Matthew Chatwin, our special comments person today, Rob Soward, we're signing off here at UTAS Stadium, and we will be rejoining you shortly for the Division 1 senior match between the undefeated Old Scotch and their opponents, St Pat's. Talk to you then. Thank you. Bye.